Welcome. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at this RDINSCOS digital laser protractor. So this was provided to me by the distributor, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing it before I post it. If you find this video helpful and you want to purchase one of these, I'll put a link to it in the description on Amazon, and if you use that link, it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost you anything extra. Let's get this open. So we have the protractor, we have a charge cable, we have a steel plate, and here's a manual. So here's a diagram of the different parts. So we have the display screen, we have the laser on off and unit switch button. So it says long press that to switch units. We have the absolute mode and relative mode switching and calibration key. We have on off button. We have the right and left laser emitting holes. We have the USB-C socket, and we have the nameplate. Here's the display. So the display reads two directions, so if you flip it over, it will automatically adjust. So the units are degrees, inch per feet, millimeters per meter, percent gradient. Then it has the tilt direction icon for leaning left, leaning right, and horizontal. So you press the power button to turn it on or off. Press the laser button to turn the laser on. You can continue to press the laser button to turn on and off the left and right lasers, and then you can hold that down to switch the units. It will show an error if the front to rear tilt is greater than 30 degrees. So this talks about measuring an angle. So this has absolute and relative modes. So absolute would be measuring the angle to the earth, and relative would be measuring one angle compared to another angle. So you can read through that. This talks about instrument calibration. So it says it comes calibrated, but if you have to recalibrate it, you can use that procedure. This has an automatic shutdown mode. This will tell you how to turn that off. It talks about charging it, and here are the specs. So automatic shutdown time is 10 minutes, continuous working time is around 5 hours, and the battery is 320 milliamp hours. So this comes in a bag. Let's get it out. And it does have this double stick tape, so you can put that on the back of this piece of metal and stick it to a surface. And here's the angle finder. So this has magnets on three sides, so we have it on the back, top, right, left, and bottom, but not on the front, because obviously that would make sense. So let's press the power button to turn it on. So this does have a backlit screen, you can see here. So I'll hold it on my hand, you can see the numbers switching around. On the top we have a port for charging, so we can pull that open, and we can plug in the USB Type-C cable. So let's test that out real quick. Okay, so we're currently charging, and it's charging at 0.09 amps. So that can vary depending on the state of charge of the protractor. But let's take this off. Let me readjust the camera so you can see the front of it easier. So we show 0.013 degrees. I can press 0 cal, and that will set it to relative mode. So now it would assume my bench is 0 degrees, and then if we turn this, we're going to have 90 degrees. So we have 89.94. And we go this way, and we have 89.79. So the accuracy on this is 0.1 for 90 degrees, or 0, and it's 0.2 for other angles. And we'll come back here, and we have 0.1, 0.0. So let me go to absolute again, and then we have lasers. So the laser on the right is on, and on the left it's on. So I will show this up against a wall, but we can press that to turn these on or off. So now the left is on, the right is on, and now it looks like both lasers are off. Then we can hold that down to change the units. So now we're at percent grade. Here we're at millimeters per meter. And here's inches per feet. So if you're doing some plumbing and you need a drop of 1/4 inch per foot or something, you can do that here. So we can do 0.25 inches per foot, like so. And also when you press this for the laser, you can see the little icon here. So that's full laser, there's right, left, and off. Then we can press this to turn it off. So I wanted to go over this on my bench, but now I'll go find some places where I can demonstrate where you could actually use this. Okay, so here I'm on a set of stairs, and I've set a level up against the steps. Now you could use any kind of straight board or anything. And now if I put this on here, I can see that I have an angle of 41.7. So now let's go up to my rail, and I can put this on here, and I have 42.56. So that's very close. So if you want to add a rail to a stairs that doesn't have one, you can measure the angle here on the stairs, and then we can, let's turn the laser on here, and you could put this up against the wall, and you can see the laser is marking on the wall. So this is a block wall, and then if you get up higher, there's a stud wall. But what you would typically do is put the laser on here and then find a stud on the wall or just where you want in the masonry, and you would mark that, and that's where you would hang your brackets to put your handrail on. So this is a handy tool for doing this. It really simplifies things and you can get an accurate angle on your handrail. So then you can measure from the edge of each step to the handrail and it will be the same distance. Now it's dark up here and the laser is more visible here. If I go down here, it's brighter and you can still kind of see it, but it would be easier to see if the lights were off. But there are very bright lights in the basement. Okay, so here I'm at my table saw and I have this magneted to the blade. So I'll turn it on and we're 0.86 degrees, and that's pretty impressive. I just set this up in my garage. I haven't tried to level it, but it's very close to level. But I want to zero this out, so I'll hit 0 here. Okay, now I'll angle the blade, and this doesn't have a real precise angling system on it. It's a small table saw, but I can turn this now, and I'll get it till it says 45 degrees. Like so. So here you can see the adjustment here. You actually push this down and you move this. It doesn't have a crank to adjust the angle, and it has these pretty large graduations here. So it's hard to get precise angles on this. Now there is a stop for 45 and I'm just shy of that stop. But if you're doing more complicated angles, like if you're doing an octagon frame and you need 22.5 degrees, this could really make it a lot easier to set up. So here I have a piece of conduit. And I could set this up against the conduit, and there's a little groove there to help you center it on there. And that will hold. Now, if you're trying to bend conduit, if you're moving that pipe, I don't know if this is going to hold. This is a stationary object that holds just fine. But when you're bending conduit, you might want to, say, put it on the inside as you bend. But the movement of bending it might make it fall off. And then, like, here's a electrical box. You know, we'll stick to that. So I'd say the magnet's strong enough for stationary object. If it's moving objects, if there's fast movement, it may not hold. Okay, so here I have the top of a painting. I can set it on top of here and I'll tilt it. Let's see. So we can see the little tilt indicator that the right side needs to go down a little bit. Okay, it was a little easier with two hands, but there I have it very close. That's not going to be visibly out of level. Now this is just one painting, but I could turn the laser on and we have that laser line. So if you're lining up multiple paintings, that makes it a lot easier. So that's the RDINSCOS digital laser protractor. I really like the features of this. It has the magnets on all four sides. It has the laser. So these are often used on table saws to set the angle. But having those lasers makes it a lot more versatile when you want to do things like hang photos or hang cabinets or things like that. I like that this does relative and absolute measurements. So when you're hanging pictures, you can have it on that absolute mode. But then when you're doing something like setting an angle on a table saw, you can have the relative mode. Now I talked about it, but I don't know if I demonstrated, but we have it like this. If we turn it upside down, it switches the units automatically. So that's really nice. So that makes it very easy to use. And I talked about using the laser and you kind of want the room dark, and this is backlit, so you can still read the display when you're using those lasers. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.